So it was Rosberg X Racing who were out first of all in the session.
Ollie Hodlinski doing a really good job, handing over to Christopherson, who took the wheel and set a superb time in the Continental Traction Challenge Zone, the fastest of anyone all day. We think 34.008. He set that early.
Yeah, he was a tenth of a second quicker than Sebastian Loeb had managed to go yesterday. That had been the fastest sector time so far. Were you expecting to see this car come back out?
That's a good point, actually, because it had an epic roll last time out here. So just a couple of days, one day, in fact, to rebuild that car, and they managed to do it. This a little bit wide for Faust. He was getting a little bit hairy on that section, and it wasn't perfect.
Yeah, coming over this crest, you'll see he runs a little bit wide, puts the left wheels off, reaches down for the handbrake, and you can see already his Hans device is out from underneath. Here he goes, tries to put it back in.
So setting a decent time in that NEOM McLaren, and some would say just a miracle that they got the car out. Same for these guys as well, Andrew.
Yeah, it certainly was. NEOM McLaren ended up P4. Where were Jonas Sainz going to go? Another car that needed a serious rebuild.
You can see a little bit of bodywork had flown off when Lyle was at the wheel.
For a bloke who's over 60 and had a huge crash just 2 days ago, I think Carlos Sainz was looking pretty sprightly running to the car, and he was certainly looking fast when he was in it. El Matador pushed as always, but unfortunately they only managed P8.
Next up, it was Hansen and Hossas. Hossas in the car first, and she's getting to grips with that car really nicely. The handover to Kevin in the switch zone, nice and calm, relaxed, which is important.
Full event earlier in the week, saw them with a great result, P4 overall. Just took her a moment or two to wake up. Kevin Hansen flat out in the car, very impressive sector times, and JBXE ended the session in 7th.
Flying up next, it was Jutta Kleinschmidt in the Apps Cupra team, and another person who it feels like needs to find a little more confidence in the handling of that Odyssey 21 for the team. Not looking comfortable out there, and not as fast as we know she can be.
And Alatia was flying on his lap. He was bang on the sector times of Johan Christopherson. So, of course, he needs Kleinschmidt just to go a little bit quicker to get them right up in the mix.
So really good job from them, bringing the car home in 6th.
Tamara Molinaro in for Excite Energy Racing, first of all. Great first lap from her. Came to the end of the Continental Traction Challenge, and watch this. She comes out, she's pushing, she's right on the splits, 3 or 4 seconds down, gets a bad bounce, very nearly digs in. She gets on the throttle, pulls the car back out, but around 5 or 6 seconds lost there. And unfortunately, Scheider could do nothing to make that up on his second lap. So she was a bit disappointed, wasn't she? She
was, and I think she was being overly harsh on herself, if I'm going to be true, because she did a cracking job out there, and she managed to almost pop her shoulder last time out, and had to pop it back in. So all in all, I think they did a good job to recover. They finished up, they were 9th in the end.
Yeah, I think, though, the potential to be top 3 or top 4. Now, the winners from round 2, the number 99 Hummer EV Chip Ganassi Racing, Sarah Price at the wheel. Now, Sarah came in and said, I think I could have gone quicker. To our eyes, she was absolutely on it. Definitely her best lap of the week. She brought the car back for Carl and Duke only 5 or so seconds back. And at this point, we were thinking, if he can hold on to the splits, the time is still in the track. But Jenny, he couldn't. He couldn't.
He gave it everything, didn't he? Up on 2 wheels, rocking and rolling all over the place. Said he was hauling the mail. That was his expression, which I love. And they really did give it everything, but unfortunately just couldn't drag it back up to really compete with Rosberg X Racing, but finished 2nd. And then the last car out on track was X44. Gutierrez taking to the wheel first, but the track now, Andrew, breaking up a little bit more.
Yeah, Sebastian Loeb said after his run, he was, of course, set to take over the car from his teammate Gutierrez. This is the switch. We'd already seen with Kyle Leduc, we thought if he goes backwards, he's got the pace to not go backwards, but he did. I'm afraid the grip wasn't there, and Loeb said the same at the end of the race. With the track drying out, they couldn't quite get there. They did make it right up towards the top of the table, but couldn't challenge RXR for overall.
So let's take a look at the results from qualifying 1 then. In 10th place and off the pace today for them, unfortunately, it's Veloce, then Excite Energy Racing. Molinaro with that mistake that cost them time, but they can come back stronger after their first ever podium last time out. Axiona Sainz in 8th, 7th, Hossas slower to start in this one, I think, but she'll get up there with JBXE. Then it's the Abt Cupra team, and this is where it's so close. Just look at the margins between them in 6th, 5th place for Genesis Andretti United. In 4th, it's the NEOM McLaren XE team. They are just nothing between them, aren't there? Then a little hop forward, X44 in 3rd place. You saw their run just now, 11.37 seconds down. Then is the Hummer EV team, 10.74 seconds behind the class of the field right now, RXR. And we are racing in Sardinia, so if we can go to the shot, 3 to one section, 2 to the other, it looks like it's RXR who've got the lead on the left-hand side, or the right-hand side of your screen. On the other side, Excite taking the lead quite nicely, so it filters down. Where will they join? Oh no, there's gonna backwards facing the Excite Energy team. No, it's Andretti United who have turned around a full spin for them, so that leaves the way open for RXR. Behind them, it'll be Loeb in the X44 car, and then JBXE. That's your first 3 at the moment. Andretti United just not getting it right, and Hansen spinning the car, blocking the way as well. Look at the battle for the lead. You can just see Loeb looking for any way round he can get from Christopherson. Christopherson will defend hard going into the water.
Genesis Andretti United now some 43 seconds back down the road, either in the traction challenge, or look how sideways it is. So where they've watered the course, Jenny, to keep the dust down, it's just a little bit more slippery. You can see the puddles out there. There is Timmy Hansen. Disaster.
Yep, X44 getting a little bit ragged there. You can see all 4 cars now coming towards the switch zone. Not long of this lap left. It's going to take a lot of concentration to do this switch right under pressure.
So now you're getting a multi-screen look at the changeovers. Interesting to see the ways the different teams do it. So RXR lead the switch zone, X44 right with them. Can Arlen Kotlinski gap Gutierrez? Can Gutierrez get near enough? Katie Manning, she's got, it's the rear right, so maybe Timmy's, maybe that broke at the point, bless her, she gives us a thumbs up, she realises she's being watched. You're on board with Gutierrez just there, Jenny, and you could see the RXR in the distance. Look at the difference, the gap's absolutely huge. So yeah, up to P3 for Excite, through this section, rear end of the car, sliding around. Didn't see where she got the pass, did we, on Hosas?
No.
There she is in the background, yeah, it's just, and now, a fair way from, we think maybe a spin for Hosas is what we're hearing. Get some information from race control. So Michaela Arlen Kotlinski took over with a gap of 0.9 of a second. She swings around the right hand of the hyperdrive, was saved in case she needed it to defend. She did not. Her and Christopherson have been on brilliant form again. They took the TQ in round 2, and with a win in Q1 and another win in Q2, they will be the top qualifiers here in Sardinia again.
Well, impressive stuff.
X44.
Yep, they come through the finishing line. X44, Loeb, Gutierrez brings it home for the team. 5th with the DNF, it was the Genesis Andretti United team. Then in 4th, JBXE, Hansen and Hosas teaming up 30 seconds below the leader. 3rd place for Excite Energy Racing team, and then 2nd for Loeb and Gutierrez, who you just heard. And in 1st place, RXR, Christopherson, Arlen Kotlinski with a time of 9:12. Decent time for them out there, managing to get top qualifier spot again.
Can either of them find the traction and get away well? Tanner Faust moves across immediately towards GZ. They're going to go left. 3 cars wide. That's not going to work. Coming down towards the merge. Carlos Sainz, despite the contact yesterday, bullies his way through in front of Chip Ganassi Racing. Brilliant by him. It's Kyle Leduc is in P2. Hit various people hitting their hyperdrives on the run down there. And coming up towards the merge now. No, Carlos is going to be close again. Sideways into the gap. Tanner Faust stops into P3 just in front of Nasser Al-Attiyah. Couldn't have been closer. Round the outside now. Leduc on the gas. Going to try and get to waypoint 3 in front of Carlos Sainz. Watch now for the exit. Going to go on the brakes. He's going to go around the outside. I thought he looked to the inside line. But it is Carlos Sainz just about with the lead.
Wow, look at that. And McLaren doing a great job back there, having a real battle with the Abt Cupra car. Can they go through? Yes, on the inside. It looks like Faust is able to get through, and there's a challenge up front for the lead as well. This is great racing from the NEOM McLaren team, but can they come back at them? They don't want to give up yet. This is the moment. Look, Leduc all over the back of Sainz, trying to find a way round, but passing on this is going to be really tricky. They've used their hyperdrive now, so they don't have that as an option to get a little bit of a boost.
He's got just a tiny bit of breathing space. Oh, Sainz runs a bit deep in the water splash. Leduc maybe going to get a better exit through there. Tanner Faust very much still in touch. He's only 3.86 back. Al-Attiyah there as well. GZ, unfortunately, 16 seconds back down the road. Leduc definitely tried an alternate line there. He is really pitching pushing the Odyssey 21 around. Carlos Sainz on a slightly tidier line in front. Both of them, though, love seeing the different driving styles, producing almost identical lap times. Two great battles going on here between first and second and third and fourth. Look in the background, Alatir. Oh, Leduc's off! He's off!
Leduc's lost his way out there. Visibility very poor. His windscreen absolutely covered and he's missed the waypoint. This is going to chuck a whole load of time away.
Is the car broken? We didn't see Jenny. It looked, he went a long way off course, considering he knows that section of track well. So Sainz now leads 13 seconds back down the road for Leduc. I think he must have dropped down to fourth, has he?
What a relief for Sainz. He was being absolutely hounded. There was less than a second in it. Slams on the brakes, down to 30. Sainz can breathe again. He's caught himself a little bit more time. Brilliant job for Lyra out there at the moment. You can just see the car bouncing around in the back.
There are bits of bodywork hanging off it still, aren't there? You know, it was an all-nighter from them to get this car repaired. And it looks to me like they're going to be rewarded with a win in this Heat 2 Q2.
And I tell you what, they've had a rough week of it so far, having to rebuild the car ahead of going into qualifying today. They did all right earlier on, but now they are flying. It is Lyra Sands who brings the car home to be top qualifier in her heat. Brilliant from the Acciona Sainz team. Carlos Sainz saying he was a little bit achy. Well, that'll help him feel a whole lot better. A smile on his face. Well done.
Look how pleased they are. It's a big sense of relief. Great job, Emma Gilmore, as well, to get that car back. It's Acciona Sainz who win this one. At the back of the pack, unfortunately, Christine GZ and Lance Woolridge just can't quite find the pace today. A spin for the Duke, and then Price coming in 10 seconds behind Alatir and Kleinschmidt. And then we've got Faust and Gilmore in P2 and Acciona Sainz with the win. But we must say 3 of those 5 cars are under investigation for either switch infringements or a drop flag. So we'll see how it stands, but smiles from the Acciona Sainz squad. Great result for the mechanics pulling an all-nighter.